To add to what he started in Truro, Brent sent Beach to Ontario to further his training with established trainer Jean-Louis Arsenault. Somebeachsomewhere showed promise, but a horse is only part of the equation in harness racing. Behind every great horse is a great driver. Brent had a driver in mind, but convincing him was another thing.
I probably talked to Brent 5 or 6 times over that winter while he was training him down. He would call me every so often and tell me how nice of a horse that he had. I'd listen, but, I wasn't real optimistic. He had me come over to Mohawk, this track right here, and I walked into the paddock and he was standing in the cross ties in one of these stalls here. I looked at him and I thought, wow, this is an impressive looking colt.
Paul had another 2-year-old. It appeared that that 2-year-old was the best at that time. I was skeptical, at least, that whether Paul would be taking Somebeachsomewhere or he would stay with the special 2-year-old that he had.
In the end, it was Somebeachsomewhere who did the convincing.
When I went the mile with him on the racetrack, it wasn't long before I realized he was a very special horse. What made him stand out to me as I sat behind him was his power and strength. Right away as a 2-year-old, you don't see too many horses that have that ability. Every motion was fluid. He just had that easy gait to him. And not only that, for a horse that came from Truro, came onto a big track like Mohawk, he knew what he was there for. He was doing his business. It's like Wayne Gretzky scoring goals. He just had a natural ability at it. That's what he showed to me right away.
Paul came off the horse and said, well, this is an easy decision. I'm racing Somebeachsomewhere.
July 30th, 2007. Time to put up or shut up.
Somebeachsomewhere for the Schooner Stables of Bible Hill, Nova Scotia, trained by Brent MacGrath.
His first race for money was at Grand River Raceway as one of the elimination starters. That year, it was the 10th annual Battle of Waterloo, and it went for $300,000.
Field of 9 for the Battle of Waterloo.
There was sort of buzz about him throughout the barn area, the horse people. It's a very exciting time of year because all the 2-year-olds are just starting.
And they're off in pacing.
He looked special based on his qualifying races at Truro, but you never really know until they get here.
You don't know how they're going to handle the move up. The competition's going to get tougher. You think you have a good horse until they get into a race and get a little fight.
I can remember saying to Brent, I don't want to really gun him into that first turn because there'll be 2 or 3 of them leaving, and we don't want to get mixed up in that.
Somebeachsomewhere has moved away to be 5th in the middle of the pack. Then Sturgis.
You have to be able to make the right moves on the track at all times, connect with the horse. I mean, you have to watch other horses, what they might be doing. You have to be alert about when you want to make a move with your horse. A horse could make a break quickly, cause interference to another horse. It could determine how it affects your horse's race performance. You're just concentrating on how to get the horse across the wire first.
Somebeachsomewhere is back there in mid-pack racing 5th. Then it is Sturgis Hanover. Off stride goes Ratings Hanover. It's Bolieve and Bruiser and Rick Zeron with the lead as they race on to the half in the Battle of Waterloo.
I was optimistic that he was going to fit in with the top level of Ontario sired. Still not dreaming about the Grand Circuit, the best horses in North America. I didn't have that on my mind.
Third, Somebeachsomewhere still has 2.5 lengths to make up and has rolled out there 3 wide. On the inside, Samurai Sealster is 5th. Then Keystone Horatio's marching 3 wide on the final turn. Sturgis Hanover, Dr. J. Holiday to the inside. But here comes Somebeachsomewhere and Paul McDonnell. Somebeachsomewhere at the top of the stretch has come on to take the lead. And Somebeachsomewhere now is cruising down the stretch drive. The 10th Battle of Waterloo final goes to Somebeachsomewhere and Paul McDonnell. Fun of the game was 2nd. Bolieve and Bruiser was 3rd. Samurai Sealter was 4th.
Wow, man, when he raced, he was just electric.
The Battle of Waterloo was a great eye-opener for us all and for the industry.
I saw a replay of his race at Grand River, and I thought, boy, this horse can really go. He was just so impressive, just big, strong colt, good manners, and won impressively.
When he did what he did as easy as he did his first race, I'm thinking, maybe we have something more here.
I just knew that I had a bit of a powerhouse, and I knew that another horse would have to really be special in order to beat him.
Everybody loves a winner, and in harness racing, big wins mean big money. It wasn't long before people started lining up to get a piece of the beach.
Luckily, we had a strong group that had no interest in selling. And we'll take the chance. There's a lot of upside here to keeping them. And yeah, there's some downside, and we know that, and we're willing to roll the dice.
It was a promising start, but the odds were still stacked against a horse that came from nowhere, making its mark in the world of harness racing.
The entire business is built on hope, because you're going to lose so much more than you win. You're going to pick out the wrong horse way more than you pick out the right horse. It's just the way it goes.
I know I've been in this business a long time, and there's way more things that can go wrong than go right.
A group of 7 on the gate.
Somebeachsomewhere had 5 more starts during his rookie season.
Here they come. This year's Battle of Waterloo champ takes charge. Somebeachsomewhere, who barely broke a sweat.
Well, it was hard racing against him. It was no fun. Most races, he was considered unbeatable, because I knew I was watching one of the greatest horses that I've ever seen.
Somebeachsomewhere and Big Mac scoop up the big bucks to win the Metro Pace. He won by 2. The fastest freshman the sport of harness racing has ever seen. Somebeachsomewhere is Somebeachsomewhere to win again. He'll win by 4. And it's all Somebeachsomewhere. The beat goes on for the pacing son of Mach 3. A perfect 6 for 6 to start his career, and he's home in 150.
In his first season, Somebeachsomewhere had the harness racing world buzzing. Expectations were high when he returned to the track for his second season.
Somebeachsomewhere in a stunning sophomore debut to win the 2nd division of the Burlington Stakes.
And he didn't disappoint. That year, just one name was on everyone's lips.
McDonnell just shows Somebeachsomewhere the whip, puts it over his back, and he's got them by 3. Somebeachsomewhere off 3.
If you were watching harness racing, you were watching Somebeachsomewhere. And even if you never watched harness racing before, you knew about the horse that was shattering records and making headlines.
Tonight's newsmaker interview, a lightning-fast horse from Truro.
A pair of his old shoes recently sold on eBay for more than $600.
Certainly the mainstream media attention was appreciated for a sport that doesn't get very much attention outside of its own little confines. That was huge.
It's no question what brought us here tonight. It's, as the sign says, some beach, some horse.
When I return, I'll make my rounds. When I leave my dead...
They're still cleaning up from the weekend beach party here at the raceway.
In the horse's adopted hometown of Truro, Nova Scotia, every race was a cause for celebration. They were called beach parties.
You get more of that of the thoroughbreds, but for standardbreds, I've never seen anything like it.
It was just heartwarming to see how much he connected with so many people in the industry and outside the industry.
It'd been a long time since they had a real hero to cheer for. And once that cheering started, I mean, it was hard not to get wrapped up in it.
This horse has taken a lot of people who may have been on the fence and brought them right out in the middle of the racetrack.
It does show you the amazing power of a horse, an interesting horse, a talented horse, a charismatic horse.
It gave everybody hope that a little guy could grab a horse like this and take him to the pinnacle.
Somebeachsomewhere's charisma and winning ways earned him fans by the thousands. He was the people's horse. To the schooner members, he was family.
In the barn, he loved being scratched, he loved treats, he loved it when he would see us coming. And our son traveled on the road with us the 2 years that Beach raced, and it felt like a family affair, and you could tell with Beach's personality that he loved having the people that he knew around him, and he loved the attention.
Rhonda and I have a relationship with him that is the same as your pet at home.
With 92 colts vying for a spot in the 25th edition of the Pepsi North America Cup. 26 made it to last week's eliminations.
The 2008 North American Cup, the richest race in harness racing. $1.5 million on the line.
And the fans have come in droves.
It came just as Some Beach Mania was reaching a fever pitch.
Being at the North America Cup was just unreal. You know, sitting there listening to the fans.
You know, there was 12 or 14,000 people there, which is, you don't get those sorts of crowds at standardbred races.
I know when MacDonnell would pull Beach's plugs, earplugs, that Beach had to have heard each and every person on these races. It had to energize him. They were so loud.
This was not normal. We just never saw this before.
Somebeachsomewhere to this point.
I think the North America Cup was the very first race where people really started to cheer for Beach. They really wanted something to cheer for.
All eyes were fixed on the much-hyped monster from the Maritimes, Somebeachsomewhere.
That environment that day was probably 10 or 12,000 people there, and it sounded like you were at a football game. It was exciting to be part of a horse that the fans had attached themselves to.
We've got a massive crowd on hand here. Field of 10 assembled on the gate. For the 25th edition of the Pepsi North America Cup, here they come.
We got into the race, and I just felt this quiet confidence because, you know, he was just so powerful and so strong.
And MacDonnell starts the big fella up. Here comes Somebeachsomewhere out of fourth, and he is third. He is second, and he's going right after command at a quarter of 26 and 4. Mucho Sleazy gives way. Somebeachsomewhere rolls to the front. Back in second.
You could hear the crowd just start getting involved and really wishing, like really excited to see him make that move. He was just, after that, he was just so powerful.
And so they come to three quarters chasing after Somebeachsomewhere. Somebeachsomewhere still not getting his cue from MacDonnell. He still leads by a length and a half, and he's at three quarters in 1:22.27 and 1/3 quarter speed. Somebeachsomewhere comes into the stretch, leads it by 2 lengths. Mucho Sleazy all out second, Badlands Rachel all out third, Santana Booch up on the helmet from the fourth, and here's MacDonnell, and here he is, Somebeachsomewhere. He's big, he's strong, and he has got it going on. Somebeachsomewhere, and Paul MacDonnell by 4. Top 25 to Canada's race. Somebeachsomewhere, he's home in 1:49.
The sound of the crowd when he won that race. I mean, I can still hear it, feel it, close to 10 years later.
There were so many people showed up to see him that night. It's hard to get a good glimpse of the horse when there's a crowd like that. So after he won the race, they went to walk him into the winner's circle. And I said, I'm going to take him up to the end of the grandstand and let him walk so the people can see the horse. The people just started clapping even louder, you know, and he did bow his head like he knew he was great. He did that. He was a big ham.
I don't know if he realized the crowd that was there in front of him, but he sure hammed it up for them. There was no question about that.